All right, good morning, everyone. It is a Wednesday. I typically do podcasts on Friday, but today's a special day because whenever I can fit in an extra podcast, I do it on Wednesday for special occasions. This one is a special occasion. It's a nonprofit Second Harvest Food Bank. We're going to be talking with Paul Scelfo, who is the Chief Regional Officer, and we're going to be chatting about Hunger Action Month, a.k.a. HAM, kind of goes with food there, and Feeding South Louisiana. It's going to be a good conversation. There's a bunch of new things with Second Harvest and all of this good stuff in the Acadiana area, some fun things we're going to learn and talk about. So if you're interested, stick around and enjoy the show. Alrighty, so before we get down to the nitty gritty, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know about our presenting sponsors, Chase Group Construction. They are a local company. They are a design build firm. So if you're looking to build something new from the ground up, they'll help you design it and build it from the ground up. If you're renovating a space, they can help you with that too. Also design and build renovating a space. So if you're wanting to change the space completely, they can help you with that. They're basically a one point of contact for the entire process. They have a diverse portfolio of projects ranged from medical centers to popular restaurants and multi-unit shopping center developments. They do it all. They have a website, chasegroupconstruction.com. You can check it out. It's on the screen if you're watching, and if you're listening, chasegroupconstruction.com. Great local company, and we appreciate their support. All right. So today we're going to be talking with, like I had mentioned, Paul Scelfo. So let me go ahead and get the screen set up here. Paul, welcome to the T Podcast. Welcome back to the T Podcast.
Absolutely, man. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening, Acadiana. We appreciate it.
So, real quick, tell us, I know a little bit about you already, but tell us a little bit about you. Who is Paul Scelfo?
I'm sure that depends on who you're talking to, but for me, I've been a part of Acadiana. I've been a part of Lafayette, moved here to go to UL's, been here ever since. I'm from New Iberia originally. 5 brothers, 1 sister. I have a lot of connections here and a lot of ties, I think, to Acadiana. Absolutely love it. Married, have 2 kids, and just a good community for us to be a part of. About 4 years ago, I was getting to a point where I wanted to kind of do something different, give a little bit back to the community. And I was talking to my wife about it and everything. I decided to apply for this position with a Second Harvest Food Bank. Very fortunate. I must have fooled them or something. They thought high enough of me to give me the opportunity, and I've been working for them ever since. And, really providing and trying to work on providing impact in the community to some folks that might be a little less fortunate than we are normally.
Awesome. Well, Paul, it's good to have you on. If you want to learn a little bit more about Paul, we won't dive too deep in that today because I feel like it would be redundant. I've talked to Paul a couple of times. Once we had a podcast where we did a whole hour or so, and there was no audio recording, so that was fun, and we had to do a retake. So I know a little bit about Paul now. But if you want to learn a little bit about Paul, we do have the episode on our podcast. You can go to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page and find that episode. It was from last year, around about this time.
Yep.
So you can learn a lot more about him there if you need. But today we're going to be talking about Feeding America, Feeding in South Louisiana specifically, and the Hunger Action Month. As you could probably tell, he's wearing a bright colored orange shirt with "Will you take action to end hunger Action Month" on his shirt. So what does that mean? Will you take action? What action can people take to help end hunger? Because it sounds like the action would be to go feed somebody, essentially.
Absolutely. Taking action is whatever it is that we try and meet volunteers and our community where they're at. So whatever that is that it means to you. For some people, it's volunteering maybe a couple of hours a month. For some people, it's volunteering, a couple of hours a week. For some people, it's putting together groups of people either through work, through school, through different clubs and organizations, and coming out and doing some sort of a volunteer program. For other people, it might be just donating. For every dollar, Ben, that we get donated to us, we're actually able to provide 3 meals back into the community. So some people will just give us a call and say, "Hey, where can we donate?" We'll donate. For other people, it's dropping off food. We're finishing up, and we're still responding to the Francine hurricane. So they might be, like right now, we have a call out for cleaning supplies. So somebody might be at the store and say, "Hey, look, I'm going to pick up a couple of extra cleaning supplies. I'm going to drop it off at Second Harvest." We try and meet people where they're at. Every pound of food we distribute, and we'll get into how much we distribute in Acadiana, but every pound of food that we distribute in Acadiana is touched by a volunteer component. So whatever it is that people are willing to do, we're absolutely grateful for it. The reason we're so successful at what we do is because we're very mindful of those folks' donation of time, finances, or just product. And we're able right now, because of the partnerships that we have, to turn every dollar into 3 meals that go back into the community.
Okay. Nice, man. You got a good little spiel right there.
Is it? Yeah. All right, I got you fooled, man. No, I'm picking.
Okay, so I appreciate the work that you guys do. One of the things that we had talked about the last time you came on was the mobile market, and I thought that was one of the coolest things that you guys had talked about, because it was where, like you mentioned, meeting people where they are. And I feel like that's kind of a good example of that is you guys basically have a mobile grocery store where you go and park. I'm assuming that's how it works. You go and park in a certain area, and those people know that area and that time is for the Second Harvest Food Bank mobile market. So for those that are not familiar with the mobile market, kind of tell us a little bit about it. I know a little bit about it, but
Certainly.
Obviously it's better coming from you. So
Certainly.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, absolutely. When we talk about volunteers, one of the ways that we're able to do this program is through a collaboration with other partnerships, other folks volunteering. So what we've done is we've taken a truck, we've modified it to be a complete grocery store. So when you go to the mobile market, anything that you need to prepare a meal, from proteins to fresh vegetables to rices, pastas, grains, anything like that. Anything that you need to prepare a meal is on that truck. And we do a wraparound service with it. So it might be we're working with the health department to do health screenings, or we're working with another organization to do fair housing, or another organization to do transportation. But we'll volunteer, and what we do is we'll identify an area. We'll try and find a partner to hold the trucks where everything is safe, in their parking lot and things like that. And then they'll provide volunteers to come out and work that area. And what we do is drive it into what we call food desert areas. A food desert area in Acadiana, if you're within the city limits, if you're within 2 miles of your home, if you don't have fresh fruits and vegetables offered to you in a grocery store, that's considered a food desert area. If you're outside into the community, into the little bit more of the rural area, it's about 5 miles. All right. So let's say right now what we know about food insecurity, if you're at that poverty level, about 33% of families experiencing poverty also don't have dependable transportation. So if it's going across Evangeline Thruway,
Which happens a lot.
that might be an issue, not being able to get food. So this food truck goes into specific neighborhoods working with volunteers, and then we offer at discounted rates food for folks to purchase, but it's at a completely discounted rate. but they're able to purchase it, create that meal for themselves and their family at reduced prices, and it's all due to volunteers and people working with us. So that's one of the programs that's working very well for us. We're also going out into rural communities. So, rural communities like Melville, who lost their grocery store. So in that whole town, they don't even have a grocery store available to the citizens there. Taking that mobile market, putting it out there, within about 15 minutes of that door popping up, we might have 100 people in line trying to make sure they get their groceries. I don't know last year if you heard that in Jeanerette, Louisiana, there was a grocery store that burnt down. Well, that was the last grocery store in Jeanerette. So to bridge that gap, what we were able to do is every other week we were able to go down into Jeanerette and provide food to that community. Again, just creating those opportunities where people didn't have to travel a long distance to pick up groceries. And that was the purpose of the mobile market, is to provide that fresh food, that healthy food, and put that at a discounted rate back into people's homes who are considered food insecure. Because a part of food insecurity is transportation, it's housing, and it's health care.
Yeah. So
what does food insecurity do? Well, it's a part of that program to help provide a healthier life and healthier impact right here in Acadiana. And I'm going to say this all day, but it cannot be done and impactful without the help and the volunteer effort that people are giving us for that mobile market. Every mobile market will go from 5 to about 20 people to be able to volunteer to make that possible in the community.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned the discounted rates, because I think that's especially a big concern now, and I think it's even a bigger concern today than it was a year ago with the rising prices of food and especially groceries.
Ben, we've had an instance. I'll just tell you a story. Obviously, food insecurity and food deserts affect people in a lot of different ways. We had a retired couple come up to one of our mobile markets, and what we were doing is we were selling fresh milk at 50% of retail costs, and we were absorbing the cost of that milk at the time. And he was leaving with 5 gallons of milk. And he was a retired gentleman, he and his wife. And I was helping him. I just happened to be there, and I was helping him get that milk to his car. And I said, why 5 gallons? I mean, that's a lot. And he goes, do you know how long it's been since I've had milk in my diet? Because prices had risen so much, he's on fixed income, and he had to remove it from his diet. And the fact that we were there gave him an opportunity to grab as much as he could, bring it to his home, and now have fresh milk back into his diet. And that's people who are struggling not to survive day to day, but to stay in their house a little bit longer versus having to go into a nursing home or something like that. This is the impact that like a mobile market will have in a community. It might be a small group of people, but every person that you can help has a story like what I just said. And I think it's a great program to be a part of. And thank Acadiana for volunteering for it and making it possible right here. We're one of the few communities that has that, actually, a mobile market. And it goes out 5 days a week.
Yeah, I know. I love it. And you said, so you sell milk on the mobile market?
Milk, butter, fresh produce.
But not like meats or anything like that?
Fresh produce, proteins,
okay.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Everything that you can create a meal with is going to be on that truck.
Got it. Okay. I remember you saying that, but I wasn't sure if like proteins was on that list.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Everything.
Wow.
It's a very popular program here. It takes a heck of an investment because you're serving so few people with prime ingredients. We're having to purchase the ingredients, and then we just discount them and just absorb the rest of the costs that we've discounted it, because we don't pass that on to a potential customer.
Wow. So like that's a pretty bold move to want to discount. Like you typically don't hear about someone buying something at the cost and then lowering the cost to the customer and eating the difference. I mean, typically you'd want to like increase the price, but you guys are a nonprofit, so that technically, I guess, wouldn't make sense, and it would also be doing a disservice to the people who you're trying to serve.
Right. Our mission on that and our goal on that was to offer healthy food quickly. So the way we have to do that is purchase it. I wouldn't take somebody who donates food to us. We would not take that food and then try and sell it on a mobile market. We give that food away.
Okay.
But in this instance, it was to make sure we had specific items that we can sell at a discounted rate. And the commitment that we make there comes with the help of volunteers. So a part of making sure that we have enough people to attend in the mobile market when it opens up, because we might go through 200 people in 2 or 3 hours, is to make sure that volunteers are there to help people, serve people, bag, check out. We're not paying for those folks. That's volunteer hours. And that because of that, there are other organizations, I can't mention them all because I'll leave somebody out, but there are organizations who say, yes, look, we can help you sustain this program. So they'll give us a donation. I'm sorry, I hit
That's
that.
all good.
But they'll give us a donation, and then we're able to purchase that product, sell it at a discounted rate, and then have that impact in the community. It's all a part of that volunteer package, Ben, that Hunger Action Month highlights this month in September. Although we do that 12 months out the year, we're highlighting it in September.
Yeah. So I was going to kind of touch on that, like the Hunger Action Month, a.k.a. HAM, for the acronym.
That.
I like that. I like ham, man. I really do like ham. And Thanksgiving is getting close. I can taste it. So what essentially is Hunger Action Month? Like, what are you guys doing? Are there any events? I'm looking at a press release and summarized, and there's some local participation as far as food drives. There's a thing called Orange Fest.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about some of this stuff.
Absolutely. Orange Fest is an event that we're having next week, and it highlights the volunteer workers that are coming out and volunteering to make these programs possible. We've talked about mobile market, but there are plenty of other programs we can talk about. But I would say this for anybody listening, there's not one program that we will be a part of ever that a volunteer is not a part of making happen for us. If we were to pay all the labor that volunteers donate to us, it would be over $1.6 million in additional fees or additional costs that this organization would have to pay to be able to sustain the programs that we're sending out. How does that affect Acadiana? Right now, this year, we are going to distribute 10 million pounds of food. That's about 8.8 million meals that we'll be able to distribute into Acadiana. Every pound, every meal is touched by a volunteer in some fashion. So it's absolutely critical to our organization. And Hunger Action Month for that whole month highlights that. So a lot of events that we do are things like we're doing food drives. Every Friday, we're at one of the local Rouses in the morning, usually from 8 o'clock till about 12 o'clock, and you can stop by and donate. Rouses is a great partner of ours. They've pre-made some bags that you can purchase the bags, turn around and just drop them in one of the bins. Usually that gets us tens of thousands of pounds of product. It'll continue to do that this year. We've had a great opportunity on Johnson Street, and I think this week we're going to Camellia, and then we'll finish up on Bertrand.
Nice.
But it's just partnerships like that happen, Ben. Hunger Action Month highlights that. The Orange Fest is highlighting our volunteer program. So we'll bring people together, do a volunteer program, and then, have some celebration and things like that and thanking the volunteers. The other thing that we've done is when we collect this food, we're doing a distribution. So because of the hurricane that happened, we were one of the organizations that responded to the hurricane once it hit. But before the hurricane, we were able to help 1,000 people put some extra food into their freezers and coolers in case the grocery stores weren't able to open up in Acadiana. The day before this distribution, we sent out a Facebook and we talked to one media outlet, and we had well over 800 cars.
Wow.
Which is well over, I think, close to 2,000 individuals, because each car represents a family.
Yeah.
It took us 5 hours to distribute all that product, and 30,000 pounds of food went out that day to help people prepare for Francine.
You said 30,000?
30,000 pounds of food went out that day to help people prepare for that hurricane. United Way, as a partner, and we partner with them, they came out and they offered hurricane evacuation plans, and they offered hurricane or emergency package, from everything from fresh new toiletries or sealed toiletries, toothbrushes, flashlights, all kinds of stuff to get people prepared for this hurricane. And we were one of the, I think, the few organizations that was doing that before the hurricane. We will do that again at the end of this month in celebration of our Hunger Action Month. So it's things like that.
Yeah.
Tonight, we're very fortunate. The local city parish government, they're giving us a proclamation to recognize Hunger Action Month as part of Acadiana.
Dude, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. We're trying, man. We're trying.
Well, look, I gotta get my next sponsor in, and I have a fun business that I'm going to mention, and I told them that I'll mention them pretty quickly because they're opening up a new business, and it does have to do with food. And I got some right here in front of me, and I'm starting to smell it, so that's reminding me that I need to go ahead and do my sponsor. So you guys probably have heard me mention these guys before. It is the Music Academy of Acadiana. I'll keep this short and brief. They are Acadiana's top choice for music school lessons. So if you're a young person, an old person, fresh born, or you're getting up there, you're getting dusty. Either way, one thing you won't be dusty on is whatever instrument you decide to play, you will be good to go. So they teach people in piano, guitar, drums, violin, saxophone, flute. If you have a good voice, and believe it or not, everybody has a voice. Some of them are better than the other, but they can help you improve it. And also, if you want to be the behind-the-scenes type of person, they teach audio production. So really cool stuff there. They've been on TV, American Idol, and The Voice. Founded by UL Music School graduate Tim Benson, who is also a member of the emo cover band called The Criers. They tour around the Acadiana area. Really cool. Their goal is to make music lessons fun, educational, to help foster the next generation of musicians and creative thinkers. Their website is musicacademyacadiana.com. And I don't have a graphic for these guys, but I do have a box right here. And I'll see if I can show the logo, but they are the Empanada Guy. The Empanada Guy. It is an Argentinian, am I saying that? An Argentina company, it's a local company, but the founder is Argentinian. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds weird. Okay, he's an Argentina guy, and his wife is a native Lafayette girl, and so they met and created this company called Empanada Guy. And if you don't know what an empanada is, think meat pie. That's essentially what it is, but they have other things other than meats in there. You can check them out on Facebook, Instagram. Just look up the Empanada Guy. The logo is a little empanada with like some little bursts coming out of it almost looks like a taco, but it's an empanada. But I'm gonna show you the logo here. So if you're watching, you're about to see it. If I can get it in the camera right. I'm almost there. Yep, that is. And there's a little QR code. There's a QR code too. But yeah, just look them up on social media. I will open the box and I will show you what's inside. Okay, you can see it a little bit. That right there is a selection of empanadas. And it is not fried, it is baked. And he told me that the ones that they have in this box are spinach and artichoke, and has a little dip, boudin, and boudin, and I want to say maybe pepper jack cheese. I don't know for sure. I know for boudin for sure. There's beef, and then there is ham and cheese. Ooh. And look, if you want one, Paul, I'll give you one. Because I have a few in this box. But either way, they're fresh out of the oven from this morning. You guys go check them out. They are opening up a new location. Their first location, actually, because they were a home-based business, and they're opening up at 1500 General Mouton Avenue on the corner of University and General Mouton, and it was the former Cafe 20.3 on the Bayou. Yeah. So they're going in there. Really great local guys, local family, and they make a killer product. They've really blown up. So I just wanted to mention them because he gave me a little box for sharing his business yesterday. I've shared his business multiple times, but he gave me a little box to try, and he wants me to try it. I'm not going to try it on air. I told him I would try to do that, but I don't have a napkin, and I'm afraid that I will spill. So his name is Luciano. Luciano, I will try them. Off camera, and I'll let you know. But anyway, y'all go check him out. So that's just a little free promo for him and his wife and their company, Empanada Guy. Okay, so Paul, let's get back to this. There was a couple of things you mentioned before we went on live that I thought was pretty cool. One of them dealt with therapy. And there's some statistics that we'll also show, I guess a couple of graphics that we'll show. But there was something about therapy, a therapy market, or what was you talking about?
Absolutely. Again, looking at how we can impact the community over the next couple of years. Our goal is to look at how we're affecting and how we're impacting the community over the next 10 to 20 years. And one of the things that we're looking at, working with other partners, United Way, Beacon Community Foundation, and many other partners, is a therapeutic grocery store. That's trying to identify people who are living in a food insecure area or a food desert area who might have some sort of a chronic disease, anything from diabetes, cancer, anything like that, where they're having some sort of a chronic disease and they need fresh produce and fresh food in their lives on a consistent basis. So one of the things that we're talking about, and we're talking about it right now, I wish I could say everything's done, but it's in the planning stages. It's coming with a lot of work and a lot of people sacrificing for it. But it's this therapeutic grocery store where people can come in at set times, pick up fresh produce, I'm going to say fresh produce, but fresh foods. And then create an education component to this where we can actually have a classroom where people can schedule time to come in and talk about how food can help them with this chronic disease. And again, working with other, what is that? A hospital's little small place. You know it.
You're going blank on live.
Paul, man, I apologize.
No, it's all good.
I'm so sorry.
So what are you trying to describe?
Where would you go if you were going to go get checked for medical condition, but it's not at the hospital?
An urgent care?
What is that called? It's like going to an urgent care. Like if urgent care has somebody that they would want to recommend, but it's
you're talking about a family physician or
something very similar to that. But it's I'll remember right when we go. Or I'll remember when we're on to something else. I'll say it. But anyway, so as those people are identified in these clinics, in these medical clinics, I couldn't think of that word, man. I was like, oh my gosh. Into these clinics, they can then give them some sort of a voucher program, and then they can come into this therapeutic grocery store and get fresh product so they can introduce that into their daily lives. We believe those things do a couple of things. Number one, it's going to create an area where we are attacking food insecurity or food deserts. And number two, we're creating a situation where people who are at their most vulnerable have an opportunity to impact food insecurity. So we're talking about impacting food deserts and impacting food insecurity with a group of all kinds of nonprofit, profit organizations who understand and say, hey, we can do a little bit to help fund this and sustain this.
Yeah.
So it's a great program, some great ideas going on right now. We're in the meeting phase of this right now, but hopefully we'll start implementing that real soon. And again, just a big shout out to all the other nonprofits that are a part of that, especially United Way, who's leading the way and making this happen.
Yeah. And speaking of United Way, you have some news about that, right? Or can
Oh,
you
my
can you
goodness.
mention it?
I
mean, you
absolutely
may.
can.
Okay. All right. What is up with this?
Absolutely can. United Way and Second Harvest, and Second Harvest is very grateful to have a partnership with a nonprofit organization like United Way. We have been actually tenants of the United Way building, which is at 215 East Pinhook Road in Lafayette. We have been tenants there since 2008, I believe. And just recently, as Second Harvest is growing and needing more warehouse space, United Way has said, hey, would y'all, to make this a win-win facility, we asked them, can we purchase this building from you and actually bring that under the Second Harvest umbrella, but still keep it as part of our nonprofit mission that United Way has always had. After many years, I'll say 2 to 3 years of discussions, just recently we were able to purchase that property. So our goal is to create a resiliency hub where we not only bring in Second Harvest Food Bank, but we bring in and we work with other nonprofits to be able to offer a facility that creates impact in the community in a number of different ways that Second Harvest just doesn't have the bandwidth to do on its own. So obviously United Way is a key component to that. Yeah. And having United Way there, having them as part of bringing the community together is invaluable to the community. And we're very grateful to have that right there in that resiliency hub. But the same thing is Red Cross. So Red Cross is right there. So like just recently when we had Hurricane Francine, we were able to partner with United Way, we were able to partner with the Red Cross, and we were able to partner with them to be able to offer that food to food insecure areas, as well promote their interest in what their bandwidth is able to do during those disasters. So we really had a compounded approach, that's not right, but not a synergy. I am losing my words today,
No,
Ben. I apologize.
Look, no, don't apologize, man. This is live.
Yeah.
Hey, I have frozen many a times, and I felt like I looked like the biggest goober, and I'm like, what in the world was I talking about? No, you're good, man.
I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. I apologize. But what we're trying to do with the Resiliency Hub is bring other nonprofit partners together and offer a facility that really can meet the goals of underprivileged people in our community over the next 10 to 20 years. That's the goal we have for it, and we look forward to see those opportunities. And I always tell people when I'm talking to them, Ben, that the best ideas for this are the ideas that are coming. So I know a lot of ideas that people have now for this center, but the ideas we're not even thinking about, I just can't wait to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And again, that's a part of thanking the community, thanking volunteers for participating in our organization, but other organizations around town that allow those organizations to create bandwidth that impact people right here in South Louisiana that need a little help.
Yeah, look, I love the mission, man. And like, people find themselves in a position where they are food insecure at sometimes in the most random times of life. You can be doing well one part of your life, and then especially in the economic situation that we're all kind of feeling, is there are times where people that were once doing okay are all of a sudden like having to make a choice. Do I pay for my groceries, or do I pay my mortgage? And like some people are having to make decisions. Or do I pay my car note?
Absolutely.
Do I let my car note kind of use that grace period? Let me use that grace period a little bit and pay for my groceries, because groceries is outrageous.
Right. One of the misconceptions about food insecurity is that somebody's always dealing with food insecurity, and it's not true. Or that people affected by food insecurity don't have a job. That's not true. There are people who are working every day. The majority of people we serve are people who are working every day. When you talk about somebody who's right around that poverty level and things, really I think there are 4 factors that really impact that person's life: housing, healthcare, transportation, and food insecurity. And sometimes, like you said, people are making choices. Do I need to pay my house because I had to fix a window or something, or change a roof or anything, or do I provide food for my family? Well, that's a tough choice that somebody has to make. The partners that we work with in the pantries around town help bridge that gap. That's all we're trying to do. Or is it, do I need to put new tires on my car to continue to go to work, or do I, purchase medicine?
Yeah.
What are those choices?
Yeah.
Do I purchase food? And so that's where Second Harvest comes in and says, hey, we can kind of bridge that gap and give people an opportunity to alleviate some of the, I would say, the month-to-month pressure of, providing for yourselves and your family. That's the majority of people that we serve. It's right here in Acadiana, and I'm very fortunate to be a part of it.
Well, there's some statistics that are some graphics that was sent to me for you guys, and so I want to go ahead and show a couple of those, and we can kind of walk through that, and then we can start to close out. And if there's anything that we did not mention or you definitely want to mention before we close out, we'll do that. So if you're still listening, guys, and still watching, we appreciate you. So real quick, this is just a graphic to show the Hunger Action Month, which is this whole entire month of September, which we're over the halfway mark of September. So there's still time to get activated if you want to this month, but you can get activated any time of the year. That's obviously no brainer there. And so you can volunteer, donate, or advocate. And so that's what this graphic shows. And so the next graphic is 1 in 4 kids face hunger in South Louisiana. Now, Paul, I know you were mentioning a bunch of statistics, but 1 in 4 kids is kind of a wild statistic. That's some people have a household of 4 kids.
Yes.
So kind of walk through that. What is that? How do you get those numbers, and what does it mean? Tell me about that statistic.
Absolutely. Those numbers will come from federal government. But real quick, when you say 1 in 4 children, when we're talking about a kid, we're talking about somebody under the age of 18.
Okay.
That's living in a situation where they might not know where their next meal's coming from. All you have to do is go up to a principal at a school and say, hey, do you have kids walking up to you asking for additional food? And I guarantee you they'll say, yes, they do. And most public schools around Acadiana. 1 in 4 kids do not understand, on Friday afternoon when they're leaving school, they might not know where they're going to get their next meal from till Monday morning when they get back to school. Ben, I do not know how you ask a kid to do their best when for the next 3 days they're worried about providing maybe food for themselves or a younger sibling in their family, or scared because they don't know where they eat, or go tap on a principal to say, can I get an extra meal to take home with me? So that impact to me is something that I just think as a community, as an organization, we can do better. But right now in Acadiana, it's one of the worst statistics that we have. Our organization feels like the best way you can help somebody who is under the age of 18 and experiencing food insecurity is to provide them with a hot meal that they can eat right there.
Yeah.
So we started a kitchen program.
Okay.
So this summer was the first year that kitchen was open. And in 40 days, we served 50,000 meals to kids under the age of 18 that were part of summer programs throughout Acadiana with volunteer help, obviously. But we served 50,000 meals to kids from
crazy.
Vermilion, Lafayette, Iberia, St. Landry Parish. We're about ready to add Acadia Parish to that.
So this kitchen is in the Lafayette area?
It's in the Lafayette area. It's right south and kind of in Vermilion Parish, but it serves all the parishes. We have the capability to do about 2,200 meals a day. And
2,200 a day?
2,200 a day. It's bulk cooking, but we're able to get those meals out into the community.
Yeah.
So through that summer feeding program where people were saying, hey, we have a need for kids, because when summer happens, your schools are closed.
Yeah, and
so
then
where
that's
are those
a big
kids,
gap.
where are those kids getting those extra meals from? So the part of this was that kind of mentality, like how are we serving children during the summertime? And so we were part of that program this year for the first year in Acadiana doing hot meals, and we served 50,000 meals in year one. We're gearing up for more for year two. I don't know how you ask a child to do their best they can when they're not able to provide a healthy meal for them, or they don't know where that next meal is coming from. It's just hard, but it's one of those issues that we deal with, and we're working on it. Because of that stat, our organization not only has a food bank, but we're now running 3 kitchens throughout South Louisiana. So we have a kitchen that does a lot more meals.
In the New Orleans area?
In the New Orleans area. They're able to do over 15,000 meals a day out of that kitchen.
That's so much.
And let me say that during Hurricane Francine, they responded immediately, and they were serving thousands of meals on a daily basis. They still are. Into that hurricane area. We were planning on it hitting in the Lafayette and Acadiana area, and we were prepared not only to use our kitchen, but that kitchen. And we have another kitchen in Lake Charles that's probably serves about 500 to 600 meals a day, with a great partnership with McNeese State University. And again, we're able to respond to emergencies, but on a day-to-day basis, we're serving everybody from seniors who are on the Meals on Wheels programs, children who are on after-school feeding programs, summer feeding programs, and it's tens of thousands of meals monthly, but well over 5,000 meals a day that we're serving throughout the 23 parish area.
That is so crazy. That's,
Isn't it?
Dude, I'm loving the mission for sure.
Thank you.
So another graphic here. 1 in 6 people face hunger in South Louisiana. And so we kind of talked a little bit about, obviously, just in general, people altogether. And then we have another graphic. 1 in 7 seniors face hunger in South Louisiana. And you just mentioned the Meals on Wheels program, I think I remember you mentioning that last time. Basically, is that where you guys deliver groceries to people, or what is that?
We have 2 programs right now. One of them is a Meals on Wheels, where we'll take a hot meal or a frozen meal and partner with a local council of aging and deliver meals to the homes of seniors. Yeah. Or they might create a dining situation where seniors can drive and eat on site at a council of aging program. What's effective there, Ben, is when you have a senior on a fixed income, and prices raised or rise, like in Acadiana, food prices rose over 1 year close to 20%. You're pricing food out of seniors' local budget. So how are they being served? Meals on Wheels helps provide that extra meal. I was a part of a study about 3 years ago that they interviewed 1,000 seniors who were part of the Meals on Wheels program in Acadiana. 97% of them said that those meals improved the quality of their life. 93% of them said that those meals allow them to stay in their home a little bit longer versus having to go into assisted living. So when you're talking about a senior who's in food insecurity, they're not fighting just to provide that meal. They're fighting maybe to stay in their home just a little bit longer. Yeah. And it's to me, it's one of those things where we can do better. You know, so fortunate to be a part of it. None of those meals are delivered, though, Ben, without the help of our volunteers throughout our 23 parish area. And they're coming in, they're showing up from 6 a.m. in the morning to nighttime, weekends, holidays. Again, asking whatever they can do to help, they're able to help. And I'll just say this stat again. If we were to pay all the volunteers for the work that they do, we would have to find another additional $1.6 million in payroll just to make sure that they were paid and compensated a fair wage. And for them to volunteer and help, that's a tremendous amount of impact back into the community.
Yeah. Look, man, one thing I've noticed throughout speaking with you multiple occasions is you are definitely making sure that the shout out goes to the volunteers of the organization, because like you said, without that, the programs that you have would not function.
Absolutely.
And so
100%.
I respect that a lot, because there are some organizations who don't show gratitude to volunteers as much as what you're doing right now. And so, I think people that volunteer their time, they're not getting paid for that. They're doing a service, and they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart and their generosity, and they want to be there. They want to do that. And to be thanked genuinely is just, I don't even want to call it pay, but it's just a good feeling to know that the impact that you're making is, there's gratitude towards it.
Oh my goodness, it's unbelievable to watch them work and see what we're able to accomplish with the help of volunteers, and we're so grateful to have them, Ben. We really are. And I would say this for anybody, and it doesn't have to be Second Harvest. Any place, anything that really says, "Hey, I can help and I can influence." Take a couple of hours and just go help them. If you're a young person, it's always, a lot of times, I mean, we live in a world that's always about us.
Yep.
And sometimes just unplug a little bit and say, hey, what can I do to help someone else? A volunteer program that you really believe in, I think, is a great way to do that. And it doesn't really take a lot. It doesn't have to be on a monthly basis. It can be on a bi-monthly basis. It doesn't take a lot, but the help that you're giving that organization is tremendous. And that's what I try and talk about. Why would my hour help? Why? Because of all of this. It doesn't happen without that hour, 30 minutes or whatever. It just doesn't happen. And so that's why it helps, because when you take you and your family and the additional community that comes in and gives that hour, we're able to create programs around that volunteer effort. That's why it's important. And any nonprofit organization, obviously Second Harvest, but any nonprofit organization, Ben, needs that extra help. They really do.
Love it, man. Paul, this was a great conversation and a lot of good points in there. And I really appreciate you coming out and talking about y'all's nonprofit and the mission behind it, and Feeding America and Feeding South Louisiana. Is there anything that we did not cover that you want to mention? I think we covered a lot.
Yeah. Well, I know that you had it on your graphics, but if anybody says, hey, how can I be a part of Second Harvest Food Bank? All you have to do is go to no-hunger.org. That's no-hunger.org/volunteer, and you can find something that we're doing. We're trying to expand our volunteer program right now, actually, because, again, people are just giving and saying, hey, can y'all do this? Can y'all do this? And we really can't do it without the help of volunteers. But you can go to no-hunger.org/volunteers, and you can find something that you can participate in today. If there's other things, if there's a monetary donation, again, no-hunger.org, you can go there and contribute. Whatever's in your wheelhouse, whatever you feel comfortable doing, we'll gladly take it. But I know there are other organizations as well that will need your help in the local community here.
Awesome.
So we hope to see y'all out at Second Harvest Food Bank, Ben. We're going to get you out there maybe for Orange Fest or something.
All right. And just a reminder, Orange Fest is September 24th.
Yes.
You said in between 8 and 12-ish.
Yeah.
I have on here 9 and 12, but I mean, so you guys are going to be there earlier.
And I'll try and get those empanadas over there. We're going to call your empanada guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's able to make a couple dozen of them. We'll make sure we have them for our volunteers to try.
There you go. Hey, empanada guy, you heard that?
Yeah, we'll get you in there, man.
Okay, and so the Orange Fest, just to kind of recap, you're going to have packed meal kits. There's gonna be music, community engagement. Also, the food drive Fridays, September 13th, 20th, which September 13th is already passed.
Yeah.
The 20th is just around the corner, and the 27th at Rouse's Markets around the Lafayette area from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The activities there, you can donate non-perishable food items. Of course, there's music, snacks, and just general overall community spirit in the area. Awesome.
Come out. It's going to be a great time. Everybody's going to be having fun. You get to get a chance to meet our team. You get a chance to meet other people volunteering. You get a chance, hopefully, to meet Ben Powers. We'll make sure he's out there, man. We'll kind of give him his little chair to sit on.
No.
Reign over everything.
No. I don't need a chair.
Hey, that line's going a little slow, Paul. Get on them.
All right.
No, I'm picking.
No, it's good, man. I appreciate the push there, and I definitely need to do better at volunteering.
Well, obviously we'd be grateful to have you out there, Glenn. But again, every hour is just so appreciated by so many people, and it can help turn programs that are worried maybe about sustainability to something that's thriving in the community. You never know what it does. So it definitely. I don't know if your parents always told you this, but they always say, for every hour you give to somebody, you receive 4 hours back, or for every dollar you give, you receive the grace of $4 back. I really believe that in volunteering. For every hour that you're able to give, you're able to receive benefit in other ways 4 times that amount. So hopefully people will say, hey, look, I can make a difference and come on out.
Awesome. Well, again, guys, the website is no-hunger.org. Check it out if you want to explore volunteer opportunities or to donate or to get involved in any sort of way, no-hunger.org. All right, Paul, it was a great, a great episode. I need a little bit of water. And I appreciate your work and all the volunteers that are with the Second Harvest Food Bank. I hope you have a great rest of your week and a great weekend coming up. And I know you guys got a lot of things coming up, especially the rest of the month. So, don't count me out. Let me see what I can do. I do have a busy little life like we all do. So I'm definitely gonna see what I can do to make it out there.
Thank you, Ben. We appreciate you. We appreciate Acadiana for taking the interest just to listen. Thank y'all.
All right, y'all have a good one, guys. It is Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you on the next one.